didn't know.
No, we haven't put it on my calendar, 11 o'clock, okay.
See those things.
Okay,
In the hole.
Like the whole school.
we'll reconvene into open session. And first item on the agenda is a report from student representatives and student and staff recognition.
Okay, we have a couple of student representatives, and we also have a brass group from the high school. I'm not sure who would like to report first.
You guys can go first if you want.
Okay,
I don't know where. Do you want us to stand
welcome
in the
Ms.
middle?
Anderson.
Yeah. Okay, today we will be playing 3 pieces for you guys. I have Jasper, Emmanuel, and Joey. You guys want to come? Oh, yeah.
I guess it feels awkward, but I guess we'll face this way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
can hear you fine.
Jasper and Emmanuel will go first, and they're playing a duet of Up on the Housetop. You guys want to play or note or two? I know you haven't played anything yet for a little bit. So.
Are you ready?
You want to do skill real quick?
Let's just do what D-class here, so like.
We'll switch
Alright.
sides.
Yeah, sure. My friend is on this side. I was maybe not gonna do that. Alright, I'll just start.
Do you want us to move the?
Yeah, you can take that.
Is this a speaker right here?
Oh my.
Yes.
We want to be ready. Please don't do that. I don't want to. Okay.
I had two. It was on the book. It should have been in the book. It's in the folder. Now we can all share. Is it dead? I did print more.
While we're waiting, would you mind introducing yourselves? While we have just a moment, while we're waiting, introduce yourselves to our school board members, please. Tell us your name and your grade, please.
I'm Justin Thompson. I'm a freshman and I play trombone.
I'm Emmanuel Van Lysel. I'm a junior and I play euphonium.
I am Joey Doberiner. I'm a freshman and I play trumpet.
Welcome, thank you.
Very good. I'm Miss Anderson. I'm the band director, if you don't know.
And you play everything, don't you?
Yeah, for
Yes.
the most part, I can. Yeah, I printed extras of those. I don't know. Here they are.
Huh. There were in the book.
That was another book.
Do you want your
Was it
own
eight?
personal?
Sure.
Yeah. Don't forget to. 1, 2, 3, 1.
Thank you very much.
That was awesome.
Thank
Oh,
you.
does anybody know what figgy pudding is?
I bet Leo might. We're trying to get him online.
I've had roasted chestnuts, but I can't say that I've ever even heard of what
I
figgy
have,
pudding
nor
is.
have I.
But-
I think it's British.
Well, yeah,
Yes, obviously. And they're off to Pep Band now, I think.
Oh,
So they're warmed up.
Suzuki.
Yep.
Yeah, off to Pup Band.
Off to Pep Band, yeah. Yes.
Great,
Nice.
okay.
The 40-minute pre-session expired and it says goodbye.
Okay,
We got you back.
we've got you
Just in
back,
time
Mr.
for our
Sunstein.
student.
the
Okay,
meeting can't go more than 40 more minutes, is that what I
that's right, that's right, we're gonna start a new one. Yeah,
That works for me.
okay, we have a report from our student reps as well. If you could introduce yourselves and your grade, and, yeah, that would be great.
I'm Emily Frizzell, I'm a senior.
And I'm Dakota Bars, and I am a junior. So, since the last board meeting, trimester 2 has started, and winter activities are well underway. Girls and boys basketball has started, and both seasons are going well. Thursday night is alumni night for both boys and girls, and both teams will have a game at home that evening. We hope to see you there. This afternoon, our Ecology Club hosted their annual holiday meal. Tables were set up in the auditorium, and the Ecology Club prepared enough food for the entire staff and high school. Students and staff enjoyed sitting down and sharing a meal together.
In November, our choir and band students put on their first concerts of the year. Both concerts were a success, and it has been great to see our school with a full band ensemble once again playing at home basketball games. This year, the middle school will return to putting on their in-person spelling bee. This week, students have competed in class-wide spelling competitions to qualify for the spelling bee. On January 11th at 1 p.m., 6 students from each grade in the middle school will compete in front of their peers in a school-wide spelling bee. This competition will be open to the community. Thank you for your time and inviting us to come speak about what's happening at our school.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Pass along my apologies to the Ecology Club that I book out like 6 months in advance. So I couldn't get off, I had
Understandable.
hearings scheduled,
Understandable.
so.
I would also have been happy to attend, but as you can see, I am somewhat indisposed at the moment. So It'll have to be next year.
Of course.
But thank you so much for doing that. It is a wonderful opportunity for the community.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Thanks, girls.
All right, next item is President's Report. All board members are in attendance. And our next board meeting will be January meeting, Wednesday, January 11th, 2023. So we move on to administrative reports. District Administrative Report, Superintendent Bina.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming on this very chilly night. As mentioned by Dakota just a minute ago, Thursday night, December 22nd, is the annual Alumni Night for Port Edward Senior High Basketball. All alumni in attendance will be recognized in a ceremony and on social media. Another exciting event related to our athletics program on Friday night, February 10th. Friday night, February 10th, alumnus Cameron Clark will be recognized at halftime of a home basketball game as the creator of the Blackhawk logo, which appears on our district website, school letterhead, and many other locations. 2 identical plaques for this occasion are being made by Tech Ed teacher Mr. Steve Burno. One of the plaques will be presented to Cameron at halftime of the February 10th game, and the other will be displayed in our trophy case here at school. So a very nice alumni recognition. At the December 7th meeting of the Port Edwards Lions Club, Senior High Counselor Jen Moore and myself accepted a check from the Lions in the amount of $4,640 for the Christmas Cheer Project. Christmas Cheer is led by Ms. Moore and librarian aide Ann Aschenbrenner, as well as other school district staff members. The Christmas Cheer program provides holiday gifts as well as needed personal and household items for Wood County families in need. Thank you very much to the Port Edwards Lions for their generous donation as well as the help of our staff members. A couple of business items. On Monday, November 21st, Mrs. Miller and I had an introductory meeting with our health insurance employee benefits consultant, Mrs. Susie Hogue. Mrs. Hogue provided an overview of the district's current health insurance benefits. We will be meeting with her once again later this spring to review our rates for the upcoming 23-24 school year. About a week later, on Wednesday, November 30th, Mrs. Miller and I had another meeting, this time with our financial benefits consultant, Mrs. Kelly Banke of the Wisconsin Educators Association. Mrs. Banke and myself spent time reviewing the plans which are offered to our district, and also scheduled a time for her to come in person to Port Edwards later this spring to meet with staff as a large group as well as individually. Our administrative team had a virtual meeting with Mrs. Donica Goodwin of CISA 5 on Tuesday, December 6th to discuss the need for professional development centered around team teaching, and to schedule her to come and meet with Port Edwards staff members. Mrs. Goodwin will begin her work with our district after school on Thursday, January 12th, when she will meet with 8 of our middle and high school teachers. She will then hold a series of 5 learning sessions over the next 10 weeks this spring with our team of teachers in order to help them grow their skills in team teaching. Over the past 3 Tuesdays, I've met with 5 elementary and 5 middle and senior high staff members to develop next year's school calendar. We basically took the calendar and broke it down to nothing, and we took all of the ideas that they had and that they had heard from their colleagues and built a new calendar over the last 3 weeks for next school year. I'm happy to report that I believe we finished it tonight after school, and it will be presented to the board at the January 11th meeting for review and hopefully approval. And finally, Mrs. Chris Betcher of CISA 5 has also been invited to attend our January 11th Board of Ed meeting. Mrs. Betcher will be giving an explanation to the board and our audience about how the DPI school report card determines its rating. She'll be reviewing this year's Port Edwards School District report card and will point out recommended areas of academic growth for next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is elementary principal report, Principal Christie.
Okay, so lots of festivities going on this week at the elementary school. Last week we had to postpone our holiday program due to the snow day. However, we figured it out and had it the following morning. we couldn't do it another evening because we had our holiday meal this week, we had basketball games, so the only time we could do it was the next morning. It worked out fine, we bussed the kids over there, we actually bussed our holiday program this year, this is the first year we've done it in several years. Mr. Erdman this year decided to do a K2 holiday program, and he's going to do a 3-5 spring program with the older kids, because the last time we had done a holiday program, it was only K4 at this building, and we filled the large gymnasium. So due to size and only being able to reserve the small gym, he decided K2 would be a good thing to try out, and then 3-5 is going to do a spring program, and then we're going to put some art in it as well. Just to give that a try to see how that works. So that Friday morning, parents came, and we also bussed our 3-5 students over so they could be in the audience and watch. And it worked out as best it could for what we had to work with, and we live streamed it so parents could see it, and it went off without a hitch, give or take a couple things. So it worked out. This week we have some dress up days, a dress your best day, pajama day, comfy clothes day, school colors day for our festivities. We have some classes that are going bowling, which is a yearly tradition for our 4-5. Some kids are going over to the ELC to do some outdoor activities and some indoor activities making use of our ELC. Some kids that are doing some Christmas movies. We had our 3-5 kids do some Christmas songs for other students today. So lots of festivities going on around the elementary school.
Happy to hear that you're using the ELC, and with all the snow.
Yeah.
Are they gonna snowshoe?
Well, we'll see what the weather is bringing.
Yeah.
That was, I think, the plan.
Yes.
We'll see what that weather brings at the end of this week. They may be digging themselves out to the ELC. We'll see.
We will keep our eyes on it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. And next report is middle school, high school principal report, Principal Schroeder.
How much time do we have?
35 seconds.
Yeah.
I will entertain you, Carrie.
You act like I didn't even say that.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you.
If you ever have any requests, let me know. I try to figure out what we haven't informed you about or given you a lot of information. So I know that and we've been spending a lot of time with this, so I thought this would be good to report. This is our best program that we talked about, and we're using a K-12. Jen Moore usually does our grant, and then we process the information and we get it neat and tidy in some little folders. And Jen and I sat down at the beginning of the year and we said, so we give these folders to these teachers who are overwhelmed, and we tell them, read all these screeners, and this is what your files look like. When you're having trouble with Kathy McGrath, go to her file and it'll tell you, this is what you should try. But it's just a lot. So we decided to pick it apart at the middle school, high school building, and we organized all the folders, Jen and I did. And then we looked at the percentage that we thought start small. This is our big theme this year, back to normal. Start small. So we picked out a couple middle school students, the top intervention that are requiring intervention, and high school. We asked the staff to meet with us on a as need, like if you have time or if you can. So we've got a bunch of middle school teachers coming together every other week, and high schoolers. We picked out some students that we can work with, or that, some interventions we can try practicing. We've started to do it for the last couple months, and we come back together and we're sharing success stories. So it is going well. We're like, yes. So starting small. So if you look on your very first page, this is the entire school district. So I want to show you what we get for this. It's phenomenal. So this, just real quickly looking at, on the right-hand side, our health marker is at 85% for our school. And that's what Dr. Hartwig said is good. That's your kind of goal, and then work from there. So we're about average compared to other schools, which is good to know. The red is intense support. Again, the yellow is 34 strategic support. Those are the two categories we're working with right now. 23 is emerging, 327 is core, the green. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? But we don't wanna forget about them, but we're starting with the red and the yellow, that 13 and 34. So on the bottom, there's all of these charts and everything, but I'll just let you know that down below, the P scale is the internal. That's when you see inward issues or situations with kids, right? Like anxiety or sadness. And the G scale is external. That's outward, like attention seeking or disobedient. And then the G scale is the two combined, okay? So we all know whether it's external or internal, it affects how they learn in school or if they're sitting there or recess or whatever. So this front page is just kind of a opening. Then I took a student that I work with quite a bit and I gave you a chart that looks like this. I think it's your second page, correct? So I whited out all the information, but you can see all the greens, that's what they're doing. These are some of the factors, not even a whole complete list. The green is they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. This person's kind of borderline. Yellow, see where their dots are. And then the red is the intensive. So this person is kind of strategic. This is the kind of person that in the class sometimes they'll swear under their breath. Or I can't get this person to take their hat off. So inward, outward, little bit, right? And then on the scale in the middle, you see the interventions. And if you can hit those scales, you can't because you don't have a computer, it'll give us a list of interventions to work with. So if I keep going to the student and I'm struggling, can't get them to do their bath or take their hat off, or and you're frustrated, you can go to this, click those, and then if you turn to the next page, one of our biggest factors is descriptive praise. And then the following, and it gives some examples, and then I just picked two and I ran them for you. Mood change. So descriptive praise is a common one, and you think, oh, we all do that. Well, when the doctor came in and said, no, we don't, we say to the kids, oh, great, you have your supplies. Kathy, you forgot your notebook again? Go get it, hurry. I meant little things that trigger, like instead of going over there, she did bring this. So you say, Kathy, I'm glad you got that. Next time, bring this. Like, he gives all these examples. And sometimes I think we get so busy and we forget about those things. So when we get these descriptors, they tell us what's happening, what's going on, when and where it's happening, what should we consider, or give us a bunch of examples. So this is what I just ran a couple of them. This is what the middle school and high school are doing. Like I said, we're getting together, we're trying to make a move. It's a small move, besides all their curriculum and everything else they're doing. The teachers have been great about doing it. We've been kind of fun. Like we made these, we said, what can we do? So we put, every time the teacher did something, they could put their name in a hat. We gave out some Starbucks coffee things. Last month we played bingo, and when they tried 8 or did a vertical or horizontal, they could get a prize or whatever. So we're kind of trying to motivate them too, but we're trying to make it fun. But now when we sit, like I said, we've seen some successes, and we're like, oh, this happened, or this, so we're kind of excited about it. Marissa's been in on a couple. Do you have any comments or?
I just really like it because it really gives us some concrete things to try with kids, where before sometimes we were spinning our wheels with what to do, and this not only tells you like, here's what this kid needs, but here's how to do it. So that it's not like we're trying to find all that, it's all right there. So it's been super helpful.
I think if I could add a comment, I think those teacher meetings have been very useful, because I've seen where a teacher, they'll come across, descriptive praise or mood change. And I'm thinking of one of our middle school teachers, she's been very emphatic, said, yes, I use descriptive praise with this child and it works. I've seen this kid, I've seen their organization increase dramatically. So those real conversations that teachers are having at our after school meetings or before school meetings, those are really worthwhile, I think.
Or sometimes a person outside of, it was Jody Wahlberg actually, she has a special ed degree, and we were talking high school, we were transitioning, and she said, I see that student as a whole different person, because she doesn't teach them, and I don't know if this, and she said, you know what you should try? We were like, we've been working with this student forever, and she just had a different perspective. So sometimes, those little informal conversations are good for us, so. It's well worth Jen taking the time, filling out the grant, and now I feel we're using it. Like in the past, we've sent the files, here you go. But like I said, we're starting small. Hopefully we'll be all in the green and we'll keep trying.
It gives us a structure and it gives us a program for improving student behavior. For years, I've sat on WIN teams, acronym What I Need. We'd get around a group of teachers and the principal, and how can we help this child? And we would, kind of spitball ideas around, well, I tried this and it kind of worked, or, oh, don't try this, it doesn't work. It was kind of like trying to invent a plan. This gives us concrete ideas based on a rating scale. It's a program that we can follow. I believe it was created by Dr. Eric Hartwig.
Yeah.
Dr. Eric Hartwig is a gentleman from Wisconsin. I previously knew him as the special ed director for Marathon County. Very intelligent. He's been in education for probably well over 40 years. And this is an outstanding program. I think it's a concrete tool that's very useful to our teachers.
We kind of find him entertaining.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
Because he's come to our place and like Shane said, gosh, I haven't sat in an in-service like that for a long time. He said he'd bring up a student and he'd say, well, give me a student, I can give you some examples. So he'd bring them up and he'd say, this kid does this in your classroom and he says this and he acts like this. And we're like, just from all of this, and which makes sense, right? But it was amazing. We're like, yeah, now what do we do?
Yeah.
So.
Hands-on.
Yeah.
Out.
Something we can use.
That's what staff needs and that's what they want.
Yes.
Because if you just start
One
a
more
program.
folder.
Yeah.
One more folder, but with some good information in it.
Something that's
Yeah.
useful.
Yes.
Yeah, but once they get used to it, we won't have to even refer to the folder as far as
Right.
Yeah.
Because some of these are repeating on
the
like this.
mannerisms
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
being able to identify them automatically
Right.
and go.
Kind of like giving a diagnosis. We're diagnosing, oh, this kid fits here. Yeah.
Right, I mean, once you, if anything, once you get used to it,
Absolutely.
it no longer is, I gotta look or think, you just do.
Yeah, and because some of these are real common with kids.
So
Some
in
of
this
the things.
example,
right.
the red, like, is this child more prone to tantrums because the red is a little farther left under C25, under the profile? Like, there's a lot more red?
More frequency.
Is that
Oh,
more,
yes.
does that mean
Yes.
More frequency with
Yep.
that.
Yeah, you rate, there's like a series of questions and the teachers rate, like, to, you don't see this, to
Like a
you see it a
scale.
lot,
Mhm.
basically.
Mhm.
So then it takes it
So, and like I
from all the different questions, some of them relate to that, so then it'll be like.
Yeah.
So you've had to have them a year, usually. Like
To
we
give
wouldn't
your
let
input.
her, somebody that she just got in September, we wouldn't let her rate him.
Yeah.
Or him or her, because she's had no experience with them. Yeah.
And
Or a lot
I've
of
heard
times.
from staff members when Dr. Hartwig has been here, how great he was. And that it was an in-service that they actually got something out of.
You don't waste
Worthwhile.
time.
Yeah.
Yes.
We wish he could be here
More.
longer and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very good at what he does.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schroeder.
Two.
Question from
Donna.
Leo.
Donna, would you give a copy of those sheets to Kathy?
I sent it, in your,
Them to her?
I sent it to your school Gmail. I scanned it in.
Oh, okay, all right, that's fine, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay.
Diana.
Thank you. Next item, questions and comments from people in attendance,
They all left. They all left.
seeing none,
I'm on the agenda.
You know.
yeah. Okay, we'll move on to number 8. Consent agenda, number 8, consider approval of minutes of the past meetings, November 9th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Number 9, seek a motion to approve the financial reports Do we have a report on gifts, Lisa?
I do have two to report, and Kara might wanna pipe in on this one. Kara had sent me an email to get a thank you, from the board to the Mead Witter Foundation, to the elementary school. They donated $1,690 in the form of a grant for the Opera for the Young to put on a performance for our elementary school in February.
Yes, so the Opera for the Young we've had them come before, and we had people, our parent organization had actually talked about helping us fund for them to come. The Mead Witter Foundation, however, stepped up and they foot the bill for the entire thing for area schools, so they paid for the whole thing for Port Elementary. So Opera for the Young said, oh, I think you qualify for that grant, and we, between the Opera for the Young and Mead Witter Foundation, found out they paid for the whole thing without us even hardly asking for it, so.
Wow.
it's
Have they
fantastic.
has Mead Witter ever done that before?
Not that I know of.
That's, I didn't
Yeah,
think so.
so.
That's
Very nice.
wonderful.
Absolutely.
And one other donation to the elementary school, again, Tina Melvin informed me that they received a wonderful donation of 80 sets of hats and mittens from Ka and Jeremy Baumgart and family to go toward our hat, sock, and mitten drive.
How many sets?
80.
Wow.
That's great.
Nobody's ears should be cold.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's right.
With those gifts, seek approval of financial reports.
Moved.
Second.
Second, yeah.
Motion by Dana, seconded by Kathy. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Oh, we gotta do a roll call.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
roll call, that's right. Good catch.
Leo Thomas Guard,
Aye.
Kathy McGrath,
Aye.
John Donovan,
Aye.
Dana Duncan,
Aye.
Carrie Hildebrand, aye.
Okay. Financial reports are approved. Unfinished business, the second reading of policies as previously presented.
The latest set of Neola legal updates were presented to the board in November, and a first reading was unanimously approved. I'm seeking a motion for the second reading to be approved, at which point, once approved, they will go into our policy.
Moved.
Second.
Any other comments? There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. New business, review of school violence drill.
Annually, typically at our December meetings in school districts statewide, school safety drills are presented to boards of education per a state statute passed in 2018. These safety drills are done in each building in the district. They are monitored by police, they are monitored by our administrators in each building, and then a written summary is submitted to the Board of Education for approval. If approved, I will be submitting these to the Department of Justice prior to December 31st. The elementary school drill was done on December 6th at 9 a.m. I've got a written summary from Principal Christie, and a drill was done on December 8th at 10:30 a.m. And I have a written summary from Principal Schroeder. Anything further you would like to add? If not, I'm seeking a motion to approve both of the safety drills for the Port Edward School District.
Moved.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. It's approved. Number 12, consider approval of student organization, Educator Rising, Mr. Rabich.
Welcome, Mrs. Rabishki.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Leo, I sent this presentation over to you on the school Gmail.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So last spring, I had the opportunity to take 6 students to the Educators Rising Conference that was held at UWSP. I kind of got thrown into it. They contacted the school and said, hey, do you want to bring some kids to this? And Jen Morris asked if I would do it, and I said, sure. It was a really, really positive experience. Students really enjoyed the sessions. I started learning a little more about it. So we kind of started, I came back, I talked to Kyle about it a little bit, just sort of thinking about, maybe we could start something within our own school. And then this fall, I was at a CISA meeting where I met with someone and so thought this was something that would be a really great thing for our district. So you may have heard in the past 90s and prior, they used to have future teacher clubs at schools. They kind of faded out over time. They didn't really have a place or they didn't fit in with the way kind of schools were moving. Educators Rising kind of grew out of that need for still having programs for future teachers and also all the difficulties we have been facing with teacher shortages, kind of to start our own little grow your own programs within school districts. It's a nationwide program now. It is combined into technical and student organizations. It works really well with some of the clubs that we already have too. It's started out being supported by DPI and now has kind of become its own independent organization. The different things they can do, they learn about being a teacher. So they learn things about curriculum, how to write lesson plans. They also learn about all the different opportunities for teaching, different types of jobs that are out there in the education field. They also do leadership activities. They get to meet lots of different types of teachers. There's workshops, competitions. The competition list is things from writing lesson plans to doing things with children's literature. They're even starting children's literature that's in Spanish coming up, which I was thinking would be a really great thing to connect with our Spanish club on. The reason I really feel passionately about this and think that this is something we need in our district is because just like everywhere else, we are struggling for teachers and we will continue to do that. And one of the statistics that are out there that comes from the Center on Great Teachers is that 60% of teachers work within 20 miles of where they went to high school. And to me, that's like huge. And I know that's true for me. It's true for a lot of people at our school. So if we can, start in our school, that we can have some teachers that are going to come back to us. We've had great success with that over the years. We know that. So something we want to keep doing. And part of that is another statistic I have on here, 54% of parents don't want their children to consider teaching. And there's a lot of negativity around teaching. And I want to help foster the positivity around teaching and how important it is and that they can see through some of that negativity and hope that our students want to get into that field still. Enrollment in teacher prep programs is down 30% since 2008. We all know the shortages that are happening around the state. So I just think it's a really important thing for us to try and do. And I think it would fit really well within our building and within some of the clubs and organizations we have. There are things within the Skills USA program with some of their competitions that actually fit in with the Educators Rising, where kids might even be able to compete in both places. So I just hope that you would consider us starting this club. Any questions?
Could you go over the cost just briefly? I see that's
Yeah. Hold on a second. So for the cost of the club, it is $0 for the adults. So any advisors don't cost anything. It's $10 per student for each year. Right now, UWSP has a startup grant for $500. Apply. There is plenty of money there for it. I've also looked at some other options. There's other grant things out there that might help us to fund going to like a competition. The possibility of funds that come in through the PEEF organization could also be used for this. And I believe that our Port Edwards Education Association would like to donate some money also to starting the club as well and keeping it going.
Sounds really good. Did you present this to PEEF?
I have not yet.
Okay.
I was waiting here to see
Yeah.
if it's going and then,
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
Leo has a question.
Once
Yes, Leo.
it's up and running, I would be delighted to help in any way I can with this.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Please keep me in the loop.
I will, yeah,
This is fantastic.
thank you.
It's a nationwide trend to grow your own teachers as much as possible. There's certainly going to be some details we're going to have to iron out, in future years, but the positives far outweigh any details we would have to iron out. I'm thoroughly in support of this idea.
We
Absolutely.
need a motion?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Leo made the motion, Kathy second. Any other discussion? Questions?
Helps sometimes to have somebody else encourage them, because I tried for years to get my daughter to go into teaching and took her to go to college to figure out I was right.
Marissa, when would you look to start this club?
I would actually look to start, possibly getting a small group together by February, because if we can get some signed up, to just take them to the conference, the state conference that's there at UWSP, which is in March.
Local?
They can go to, there's plenty for them to do even if they're not competing.
Sure.
And then we would look to really fully start in the fall, so that I could get them going with doing things for competitions and things like that.
Excellent.
Sounds great.
Perfect.
Thank you.
We have a motion on the floor.
Yeah, motion on the floor, so take a vote. All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion carried. It's approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Marissa.
Thank you. Great idea.
Next item is consider approval of co-curricular contract Harnish Assistant High School Girls Basketball Coach.
Move approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
I would like to thank Joan for all the volunteer work that she's already done. And that's great that she wants to help grow the program.
Right, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Next item is opportunity for individual board member comment. Let's start with Carrie.
John?
Oh,
John?
Leo, yeah,
If I could go first, because my second Zoom link
sure.
is already,
Yep.
about ready to expire.
Before we expire, you.
Better than
Go ahead,
than
Leo.
anything
You
else,
got it.
yeah.
Oh, that's fine. I just wanted to commend Jim on going to the educators event at UWSP that was posted on Facebook. If we had an Educators Rising-esque group in the future, it would be great to take some of our kids along to help sell the district.
Absolutely.
I was very gratified to see that you did that, Jim. Thank you for taking that opportunity. Anything that can happen to put us on the map as a positive presence in central Wisconsin is a plus for the district. So kudos for that.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, Kathy.
I would just like to thank Mr. Hintz and the Junior High Student Council for the wonderful senior citizen Christmas breakfast that they put on. There were a lot of people there,
64, I believe.
64 people, and I know that the senior citizens really enjoy it. We had wonderful entertainment by both the band and the choir, and it's just really a nice event. And I know, Donna, you were instrumental in starting that, so I'm glad that it's being continued. And then today, the holiday meal put on by Mrs. Bruner and the Ecology Club, again, just a wonderful event, and so nice that they include PEEF members and school board, and just wonderful event for those students.
It's incredible.
The auditorium looked amazing with all the lights, and it was just really nice.
I would guess that it was as full as it's been.
Yes.
Yeah. Mrs. Bruner mentioned to me that she would like to expand it potentially in future years to invite village workers, postal workers, civic workers in the community, and make it as community-wide as possible. So looking for it to even potentially expand further. She does an amazing job with
She
it.
does.
Okay. Dana?
I guess Merry Christmas, and hope everybody has a very family-oriented, happy holiday as we go in. Hopefully the storm that is supposedly a brewing becomes kind of a neutered situation.
Carrie?
Very, very nice again to see all the students here, getting back to that. Excellent to have that nice little performance and see that our band program is getting back on track and has a good leader to take them in that direction. I mean, especially like the trombone, since that's something that I play, you know.
I did too, Carrie.
Oh, all right.
And when I was watching Jasper, I thought I wouldn't remember a single thing.
I was trying to recollect a few things and I'm not sure. You know, I should have never, you know, stopped playing, but
Yeah.
you know, life, you know, kids.
I play once a year in an alumni band event, and trust me, the embouchure, you lose it if you don't practice it.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
I'm sure. I
Yeah.
might have picked an instrument up a few years ago and just yeah, it was pretty bad. But so excellent to see all the students here, and especially nice to see the band getting back together. Joke there. Pun intended, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Leo.
Merry Christmas.
And that's good. Go ahead, John.
And yeah, I just like to wish everyone a happy holidays and a happy new year. It was nice to see the mini concert that we had. That was great. And also, I should have mentioned when they were here, I attended the play last month. It was November, right? Or was it
Yes.
early this?
It was last month. It seems so long ago.
Yeah, it seems so long
Yes.
ago, but the two representatives were in the play, and
Yep.
Marissa was the advisor.
Yeah,
And that was a very well done event.
it was hilarious. It was
Yeah,
a
it was
great
great.
performance.
It was in my thoughts earlier, and you're correct. I
Yeah.
forgot to mention it.
So, I guess that's all I have.
Yes,
And
it's
next
here.
meeting will be January 11th. So, seek adjournment.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 We're adjourned.
Awesome.
Yeah, too bad my son is working on Friday, so could have come back for alumni
broadcast?
night
Yeah.
basketball.
It's Thursday.
Was it